studio audience again.
Oh yeah, I love it. You were hilarious in the other episode.
Yeah, it was funny. Listen to it. It was really funny.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Radiovania, episode number 20, your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Rotello, and sitting across from me is John Swansong Parker. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good.
Big week.
Very big week.
Coming off at E3. How you feeling?
Good.
You having
Excited.
a good week?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been working at the old ball field, right?
Yeah.
Play
the
ball.
old ball field.
Play ball.
The old ball game. Yeah.
Week's been going okay, though. Yeah, recuperating from all the stress of sitting on the couch, eating food, and watching videos.
And playing video games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a rough week at home.
So now that the dust is settled, what's the game that you're most excited about that you saw at E3?
Batman VR.
Yeah,
easily.
really?
Yeah, easily.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not, you were really excited about the EA Star Wars stuff. I remember when we do
Yeah, and then they followed it up with a Mark Hamill monologue, and then I was just like, this is so much better.
Give me Batman. So do you, the question is how good of a game do you think it's going to be, or do you think it's going to...
I think it's more of an experience type thing. Yes.
That's what they're billing it as, right?
Yeah.
They're billing the same thing with the X-Wing thing, right?
Like
they're
I told you,
it's
like
an X-Wing mission.
If like the game is just me in a VR in the Batcave and I'm putting on the Batsuit and then like I'm walking around and that's it, that is fine.
John's never going to leave his house.
I know, yeah. I'd just be Batman.
I feel like VR could be a great invention for the history of mankind,
but
or
we could lose some people.
We could lose some people along the way.
Yeah.
It's like unnatural selection. Maybe coining it here on Radiovania.
I feel like Tron, people just get stuck in the game.
Oh, yeah. If you never listened to Radiovania before, we are nerdy...
Reporters.
Nerd culture, yeah. Well, I don't know if
Clark
we go that
Kent,
far.
Lois Lane.
Oh, okay. I'm happy being Lois Lane. I get to be Amy Adams. That's cool.
Yeah.
What we do here...
Throw the stupid spear in the water.
I'll try not to, but I'm the key. Remember, I'm the key.
Okay.
Major key. If you haven't listened to Radiovania before, it's simple. We post it once a week on iTunes and on YouTube, but mainly Radiovania.com, www.radiovania.com. This is the third week, second and a half, I guess, technically, that we've had the domain name. How does it feel to have a website?
It's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
You guys should go check it out. It's cool.
Yeah. Go to Radiovania.com, like the videos, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us what you like about the videos that we're putting up. You can also go watch The Few of Us, which is a great flick starring John Parker and Michael Richard, which, Michael, we got him in the studio audience again. How you doing, buddy? Hey, have you watched the video of you and John reenacting The Last of Us / Uncharted?
I watched the unedited version. I have yet to watch the final.
As soon as this is over, we're gonna theater screen it for him.
You're gonna laugh your ass off.
Oh, it's fantastic. John, we got a lot to cover, so let's jump right into the hot topics list. You ready to do this, boy?
Sure.
From FlickeringMyth.com, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 wraps production, confirmed for San Diego Comic-Con appearance. And the little teaser is there. It says, quote, "We, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, are coming to San Diego Comic-Con this year," states Gunn. "I'm going to be there. Chris Pratt is going to be there. A bunch of the gang is going to be there, and we're going to show you guys something pretty cool."
Could it be a teaser trailer?
I would be shocked if it wasn't. So there you go.
Maybe it's a picture.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You excited about that, Guardians?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Guardians of the Galaxy, I would say, is practically a perfect movie.
Virtually.
And I'm worried about the sequel syndrome, where sequels tend to
Agreed.
not do so well,
No.
and to kind of kill the fond memories that you have of a certain original movie. So we'll see. Obviously, I'm excited, but it's going to be hard to top that first one. It really is.
It's going to be really hard. And Marvel
It's the same thing as Finding Dory.
Finding Dory. Saw that one this weekend.
Yeah,
Not
me too.
fantastic. Good. Not great.
I would say it's great, but not amazing.
Marvel hasn't really had good track records with their individual storylines going to sequels. Iron Man 2, not great.
Bad.
Thor 2, not great.
Winter Soldier is
Winter
so
Soldier,
good.
though.
And then Civil War. So, like, Cap is done fine. But Avengers, Age of Ultron, not so great. Stuff like that. Yeah, so it's, I don't know.
It could be bad news, but I'm excited about it.
No, we're definitely excited.
Oh, it's a day one C for me.
It has Nathan Fillion in it. Let's not forget that.
Also, don't forget the first one had Nathan Fillion in it.
Yes, but this one will have his face in it.
Let's hope. We haven't confirmed that.
He's Simon Williams. He'll
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll be a human.
So it's confirmed. From Variety, Donald Glover joins Spider-Man Homecoming. It says Community alum Donald Glover has joined Spider-Man Homecoming. The source has confirmed to
He
Variety.
looks like Childish Gambino.
Oh, he looks exactly like him. I wonder if there's any resemblance, significance.
That's weird.
Tom Holland plays the titular superhero, and Robert Downey Jr. is set to reprise his role as Tony Stark, a.k.a. Iron Man. So, how do you feel about this one?
I feel really good about it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there that whole thing where everybody wanted him to be Miles Morales?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, do you think there's any hope left for that to be a possibility?
I mean, it could be a possibility. I kind of don't want it to be, though, because
Really?
for those of you that don't know, Miles Morales is Spider-Man, and Peter Parker is also Spider-Man, so there's two Spider-Men.
Yeah.
And having two Spider-Men in Tom Holland's first solo
Sure.
Spider-Man movie, I think would undermine it.
Oh, well, no. I just mean like in the future. People have talked about how the animated movie that they're coming out with, they've announced an animated Spider-Man movie coming out in the next couple of years. Do you think Donald Glover double teams that? Maybe he's in that as Miles Morales, and then
Maybe. We'll see. Who knows what they got up their sleeve?
Yeah, seriously, it's that Marvel Sony jargon. They know what they're
Clearly, what they have up their sleeve is botching Rogue One, though, so they need to get that fixed.
Yeah,
Disney.
we'll see about that one. That's going to be an interesting. Radiovania when we do that pre and post show.
God, that's like 6 months away.
Half a year.
We have no trailer. Oh wait, we have one trailer, but we don't have like a trailer.
I know,
We
it's
have a
crazy.
teaser.
There's no like big tease, like we don't know hardly any of these characters except for Jyn Erso.
Yeah,
and
probably because they
Mon
cut half
Mothma.
of them out because they're too dark.
There's people stabbing each other. It's the battle of the bastards.
Someone's head got cut off. Darth Vader killed people.
From Variety.com, the box office says Finding Dory scores record 136.2 million opening. Family audiences turned out in droves over the weekend, propelling Finding Dory to a massive 136.2 million debut and establishing a new record for an animated film opening. Now, we both saw that Finding Dory, and we just talked about it a little bit. I say good, not great. You say great, not fantastic.
Not amazing.
What were your thoughts on the movie as a whole?
It was good to see those characters back
yeah.
again because I love those characters so much. And
Yeah.
Finding Nemo is one of the best films of all time.
One of the top five.
It's so groundbreaking. It's definitely one of the best top 5 animated movies for sure. However, like you said, it felt like they repeated a couple of things, here and there, and it's kind of I'm not going to compare it to this because it's so much better than this movie, but it's kind of like the Cars 2 syndrome.
There's definitely some copy paste.
And it was a good movie. I was glad that I went and saw it. I saw it with my family. It brought back memories of when I saw the first movie with my mom and my dad.
Sure.
So it was a good time. I'm glad I went. But I would agree with you that it's not better than the first one, and I wouldn't even say it's one of the best animated movies in the past 3 years.
It's definitely in the.
It's well done.
Sure.
But it's not mind blowing like
No.
Zootopia or something like that.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we watched Zootopia the other night after I saw Finding Dory, and I was like, that's a way better movie than Finding Dory. And I'm sure it made less money. I'm sure it made a lot of money.
It made over $1 billion.
That's right, but it made
Not like opening weekend.
Finding Dory's going to smack
because people didn't know what
Zootopia
it was. Whereas like if you have the characters that people have been put so much love into for the past 13 years.
The movie came out
that movie's
in 2003. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
13
crazy.
years ago.
Holy crap, that's crazy. Yeah, so Finding Dory, my short review is I found it a little boring. It was humorous, right? But I think the over humor and some of the outrageous humor took away from like the grounded world that was Finding Nemo. We didn't even see sharks. Are you kidding me? No Bruce?
They have whales this time.
I know, but Finding Nemo.
They didn't want it to feel like it. I think they were worried about doing a complete copy, but not having your characters that you developed isn't a copy. You know what I mean?
No. And
So,
the one scene that they tried to do that was really dark and scary was the scene where they get chased by the octopus or whatever underwater, the giant electric.
The squid.
Yeah, the squid, that's right.
Yeah.
And even that I didn't feel was really scary or exciting at all.
I thought it was scary because I hate squids.
Really?
I'm terrified of diving in the ocean and just having just grab me the Kraken.
Strangle the life out of you.
Oh gosh.
I had no idea that you were scared of squids.
I don't like squids and I don't like birds. Birds are gross and they carry disease. Especially peacocks are the worst.
Yeah, Michael, interjecting.
Well, here, pause for a sec. You said Kraken. I looked at this. Just look at this 30 seconds real quick. It's definitely conspiracy theory, but this is awesome.
Is it scary?
A little bit.
No.
Just so you know, I'm not pausing.
right,
This is
you can-
Radiovania Live.
Here
Here
we
we
go.
go. We're watching a
Alright,
video
so-
that Michael's talking about with the Kraken.
Kraken found on Google Earth.
No.
I haven't actually listened to the sound.
We have to
yet, so-
commentate. We have to commentate while
All right,
it's
so we
playing.
zoom down.
Yeah, we video. Looks like
we're going down to Deception Island. Looks like
Island.
This is like a Pokemon game.
Deception Island.
That whole island.
Just,
Tight whole
just
island.
off.
Just off the
We go
coast of
down to
Cuba.
this.
Even tighter whole island.
What is that in the water right there?
Some sort of landmass.
It's not a landmass.
Does it show it moving?
No, it's Google Earth. It's a picture. But look, look at that. It's something surfacing. It's like on the water.
Looks like a whale to
Look how
me.
big that is. No, that's like the top part of a squid. Look at the shape.
Holy f***.
96 yards.
It's huge!
It's massive. I haven't heard this music before. This is great.
Yeah, this music is really ominous.
Watch, it'll show like kind of like what the squid's anatomy looks like. Massive disturbance in the ocean. Yeah,
I just like how this was perfectly caught on Google Earth.
great.
Is this a rock formation? It can't be.
Or is it lit?
Something. Thing. Actually, that's not a whale. It's the top of a squid. That's what that is. It's a kraken.
Well, there you have it, John. Looks like Radiovania Live episode, 3. Radiovania After Dark 3 is going to be us going to the Upper Peninsula, and we're going to be hunting some kraken. How's that sound?
Terrible. I don't want to touch no Kraken. I can see myself smashing a couple of these and then watching the feud with some Cecilias later.
Let's go! That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Calzone.
Yeah. Fucking quiet in the fucking court.
Don't flick us off. You're a guest audience.
Next up on Polygon.com.
That's my couch. They're both my couches.
Next up on Polygon. Michael's causing some trouble. Studio audiences. Next up on Polygon.com, Game of Thrones actor Kit Harington is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's villain. You might know something, Jon Snow.
Winter is coming.
Game of Thrones actor Kit Harington is joining the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare as the face of the enemy, Activision announced today. Of course, this was last week on June 10th, 2016.
Bless you.
That's a burp, but thank you.
Are you not allowed to say that for burps?
Are you serious? Can we get a ruling on that one? Can you say God bless you if someone burps?
This is America. You can say whatever you damn well please.
But it doesn't make sense.
No.
Let's Google this.
This is a waste of time. We're just on tangents.
I love this. This is amazing. This is what I want the show to be. Tangents. Bless you after a burp from the all-powerful Yahoo Answers. Bless you after a burp. My roommate says bless you whenever I burp. Never heard anyone in all my 21 years of living blessing someone after a burp. This is so bad. This is all grammatically wrong. I asked and he said, "You're supposed to. Trust me." Suggesting that this is proper etiquette. Just wondering if anyone else has heard this. And the first answer, the best answer, comes from a guy whose icon is Tommy Chong. And he says, I too say bless you after people burp as well. One can never be blessed too many times, so why limit yourself to sneezing? Exactly who decided sneezing, spit, and snot all over your hand, your face, or another is worthy of a blessing, while releasing gas is not? Bless all and bless often, creating blessings all around. I replaced hello and goodbye with bless you. Bless you, my friend. What the world needs now is love. Sweet love. Spiritually, dude. Peace. Added the true origin of bless you is unknown. There are several common origins, one being the plague. The intent is the same. Be blessed. Holy shit.
Bless you.
His sources are me and Bobby McGee. Wikipedia. All right, well,
Let's get back to those news topics.
yeah,
shall
let's
we?
get back to the stories. Do we care about Kit Harington in Call of Duty?
I hope he says winter is coming in space.
Yeah. Whew. All right, two big stories back-to-back here from comicbook.com. John Williams returning to score Indiana Jones 5. And then from comingsoon.net, John Williams will score Indiana Jones 5 and Star Wars Episode 8. John is making a dick-sucking motion.
2 of them, actually.
How do you feel about that? You
Really
excited?
good. Really good. I was hoping that he would continue to do all the saga films, so Star Wars 7, 8, and 9.
Sure.
And then you can't have Indiana Jones without John Williams. I mean, it's the same thing. Him and Star Wars.
That movie would be so weird without John Williams.
I mean, it's a no-brainer to do it. It's just whether or not he was going to do it, and I'm glad that he did.
Yeah. From ScreenRant.com, it says the Shrek movie series to be resurrected by DreamWorks. This comes from Michael Kennedy on June 14, 2016. In DreamWorks Animation's decades-long battle for dominance with Pixar Studios, arguably the most famous franchise created by the company has been Shrek. A series of tales concerning a surly but lovable green ogre voiced by Mike Myers.
I'm going to have to go with Shark Tale. Shark Tale is an underrated film. Right?
We should add that to our list of commentaries.
Yes. Can that be number... Oh, it's that like 3 or 4 on
Number
the list?
3 or 4. We have to do Spider-Man 3.
Is first.
We have to do Batman v Superman extended cut. So maybe 3, Shark Tale.
Okay.
That's the only other movie we've brought
It
up
has
multiple
Will
times.
Smith, Jack Black,
And plenty of other great talent.
I'm pretty sure Robert De Niro's in the movie. It's a classic flick, y'all.
Who cares? Is Shrek relevant anymore?
He wasn't relevant since the second movie. Maybe.
No one cared.
Some people don't even like the second movie. So
It says here that Shrek the Third, which came out in 2007, was that no, Shrek Forever After was the 2010, and it got less than the third, which was profitable. So I guess the movies have consistently been profitable, but who cares about Shrek?
I haven't cared since the second.
No. I didn't even like the second one. We talked about this before, but
I love it.
God, that movie's awful. That movie's trash.
You stop. All
I
right?
need a hero.
You're ruining my childhood. I will break this bottle on your face.
Shrek 2 is a great movie.
No,
Thank you, Michael.
Studio audience. From Kotaku,
We like
the
Kotaku.
new what?
We like Kotaku.
Oh, Kotaku's the best. Kotaku, great articles, great written work. Good job, Jason Schreier. Good job, Patrick Klepek. Can't really pronounce
Are
his
you
name.
speaking Geonosian right now?
A deep cut.
Yeah.
The new God of War has a button dedicated to your kid. This comes from Patrick Klepek on June 14th, 2016. It says, Kratos isn't alone in the new God of War. Not only does he have a son,
has
that
Ellie.
child will be with
wait.
him for the whole game. The two are tied together, so tied together, that Sony's dedicated an entire button on the controller to interacting with the kid. The relationship between Kratos and his son is central to God of War's latest installment. The big question at the heart of the game, according to the developers, is whether Kratos is capable of redemption. This is interesting.
What button?
Let me
Triangle?
scroll through this really quick. They did not ask which button.
That's what I
Yeah,
wanna
he
know.
says this doesn't happen randomly or by accident. There's a button on the controller. I forgot to ask which. So good job, Patrick.
What the fuck, man? That's the only thing I wanted to know.
I'm assuming it's probably one of the shoulder buttons or the R1 or L2.
R1 or L1.
Yeah, because those aren't really used greatly in any of the God of War games. Have you ever played a God of War?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I played snippets here and there.
Okay, I should lend you 3 so you can see the best one. God of War 3 is a masterpiece. It's not a great story, which is what I'm hoping for out of this. Now, there's a lot of theories going around that his son is Thor. He's stepping into Norse mythology.
Really?
There's lightning in the trailer. Maybe he's raising a young Thor to be a hunter and a killer.
God, I would die.
That sounds like a great story to me. I'm excited for it.
Hope they fight Odin. Wait, does that make him Odin? Is he Odin now? Kratos Odin? Croden?
Scrotum.
Scrotum?
From TheVerge.com, Pokemon Go will be available in July for iOS and Android.
Gotta get that Charizard.
Your smartphone is becoming a Pokédex. From Nickstat on June 15th, 2016. It says Pokemon Go, the augmented reality free-to-play mobile game from Niantic, will be available this July. Nintendo announced the release window during its second day E3 livestream, which was ass, but didn't give a concrete day. The company did say the game's accessory, the wrist-worn wearable, holy shit, called Pokemon Go Plus, that lets you play the game without using a smartphone, will be available for $39.99.
If you wear that, you're gonna get beat up. There's no way.
Give me your lunch money.
I gotta go get my Pokemon with my watch.
Not even that, though. The wristband won't be available at launch.
Boo.
Now, I'm excited about
Oh,
Pokemon
as
Go.
soon as it goes on, we're doing a live commentary.
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon Go. We're gonna go out in the woods and we're gonna try and catch Bulbasaur. It's happening. Get ready.
Now, I'm going to make a bold claim here. I'm more excited about Pokemon Go than I am for Sun and Moon. I know that may sound like heresy.
No, it doesn't, because it's something new. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm excited for that too. I just want it to run well. And the thing about that is Pokemon Sun and Moon, it's gonna run well.
The UI has looked great. Like everything that they've been shown looks great. They beta tested it. Michael Richards going to bed, everybody. Say goodnight, Mike.
Gentlemen,
good night to the studio audience.
Good night.
Hey, you want to give me another beer?
Yeah.
I'm still working on this one, but thank you. So we know Pokemon... Oh my god.
You should just wait.
Are you going to bless me?
Bless you.
Thank you.
Fuck you.
So we know Pokemon Sun and Moon is going to be great, right? Like, Pokemon hasn't made like a significant step in such a long time. I really do think that Pokemon Go is like the next big thing for the franchise. Make it mobile, make it accessible to a lot of different people. Pokemon Sun and Moon I'm going to play for a few months and I'm going to really enjoy it, but Pokemon Go could be in my pocket for years if they keep iterating and updating, So I think that's what's really exciting about it. We may have a new step for this franchise. Any thoughts?
Where's the Falcon?
Where's the Falcon?
So what I'm excited most about Pokemon Go
Sure.
is that it's taking a step away from the classic way to play Pokemon, but it's still like, obviously it's like the same formula. But I mean, for all the things that you said, like, I'm just excited that both of these are coming out in the same year.
Oh yeah.
Because I do think Sun and Moon has the potential to be one of the better Pokemon games since Gen, 2? Game Boy Advance?
No.
I think the last good Pokemon game...
Game Boy Advance, Ruby and Sapphire were Gen 3, right? Because Gold and Silver were Gen 2.
Right. I think my last favorite Pokemon game was when they remastered Gold and Silver for the DS, and I haven't played a Pokemon game all the way through since then. So I'm hoping that this one will be enjoyable enough for me to play through.
I've played at least one Pokemon game in every generation all the way through, so I'm well versed in the series. Although, as it started getting closer to the later generations, I started caring way less.
Oh, yeah.
Like
definitely.
X and Y, I could give a shit about those games. They were fine, they were fun, and I had fun battling my friend Aaron. Shout out to Aaron, but like,
What up, Aaron?
Yeah, it was just not like.
Did you pick the frog?
No, I have a hard time straying away from fire. That's my thing. That's usually what I go to in the very beginning, and it's all reliable. It's all faithful. You know what I mean? Did you pick Greninja? Or did you even play X and Y?
I picked the frog, and I played X and Y.
Greninja. Greninja's the final form.
Yeah, and then I played it for like 20 minutes, and then I couldn't get behind the art style, and I sold it.
That's the thing, man, is that I've never liked the 3D stuff, and I'm totally confident that it'll look great when it does come to the NX, or whenever the console iteration comes around.
Never,
knowing Nintendo. But the 3D doesn't look good on the 3DS, which is funny because it's called the 3D fucking S.
I never use the 3D part.
I never. It's always off.
On 2D.
Always off.
Yeah.
But that system looks terrible. Like, the games on it look bad. They don't look good. They're polygonal and choppy, and the frame rate sucks, and it's just like...
Luigi's Mansion 2 looks pretty good.
Really? Did you play that in 3D?
Yes. But I can't do the 3D for too long, otherwise...
Yeah, it hurts my head.
Yeah. But it looked good.
I like to move around when I'm playing.
When you're like dragging the ghosts all around and stuff like that, and it's moving in different spectrums, it looked really cool.
Yeah. That's a game I have to get
Shout out to Luigi's Dark Moon. It's pretty good.
From Polygon.com, Skylanders is heading to Netflix as a TV show. Activision Blizzard announced today that Skylanders, the company's popular toy-to-life game series, will be making its way to Netflix as an animated children's series later this year. Skylanders Academy marks the first release out of Activision's Blizzard studio, which was launched last year, that creates the television series and films based on characters and stories from the company's games. The 2-year Netflix deal is the first step in creating more television and film properties. This is odd.
It is odd.
So not only is Disney Infinity crapping out, right? No offense to the team, but they're done.
They're done.
They're closing their studios.
They don't want to invest in it anymore.
Disney's getting out of IP, and yet Skylanders is making enough to invest in a television show?
There's an audience for it somewhere.
Something is weird.
We talk about this enough, where there's an audience that's not us that enjoys it. So
Skylanders
if you're a
is huge
Skylander
with kids.
fan, get pumped because there's a Netflix show coming your way.
But at the same time, dude, I thought that Disney Infinity would be huge for a long, long time.
As soon as they incorporated Star Wars, I was like, they're going places.
Star Wars, Marvel.
Yeah, you could play Spider-Man and Han Solo in the same game.
That's magnificent, especially for nerds like you.
Hey,
that's a good thing.
You know me so well.
I know. So, how do you think this show does? How do you think the reception is?
Like critically or like in terms of like views?
Both.
Critically, I'm going to go with poor to moderate.
I'd say mixed is probably a good way to put
Views, there's an audience for it somewhere. I think they're going to get their views. I don't think it's going to last long, though.
How many kids watch Netflix original programming? That's my thing. Parents watch, House of Cards or Orange is the New Black or Daredevil, whatever it is. But, like, do the parents that own the Netflix accounts really, like, look through the kids' programming? Or do they just, like,
there's a separate kids channel, so it'll probably show up on that. Who knows?
It's just interesting.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be a visual one. I don't know if you saw this yet, but this is from a Twitter account. I'm not going to read the guy's Twitter because it could be totally insubstantiated, but a guy on Twitter pointed out that Nintendo recycled the art from Mario Party Star Rush from an old SpaghettiOs can.
Yo.
Just wanted to point out how ridiculous that is.
What do you think about that game coming out?
Looks bad.
Yeah.
Not excited about it. This is a total
Mario Party is a console game.
Also, it's a total last-minute Hail Mary. Like, what's something easy we can put together in a couple months that we can put on our dying systems? How about a Mario Party game where it's top-down?
I love Mario Party.
Mario Party's awesome, but not on the 3DS. Not like this.
Nintendo, come on. You're releasing console games on the 3DS and 3DS games on the consoles.
It's just a bad state of affairs, man. After the Nintendo E3, I'm less...
The Ocarina of Time remastered should have been on the Wii.
Oh, yeah. The Wii U.
All four of them should have been on the Wii U.
Yeah, sure. It's just so interesting, man. Like, Nintendo just keeps making... I know they're trying. Like, I know that they're trying to make me excited as a Nintendo fan.
They hit a wall.
But they just keep... The things that they're saying aren't right. Like, I know that them reusing SpaghettiOs art, whatever, it was probably pre-rendered art. They had it lying around. They probably reuse it more than even just SpaghettiOs. But, like, even stuff like that, it's like, where's the quality control? Why doesn't anybody, like... It doesn't seem like they care.
Yeah.
It's just depressing. And on top of that, they're reusing the SpaghettiOs art for a Mario game that's just... And I know there's talented people working on this game, but it just seems so half-assed. Nintendo, what are you doing? From Polygon.com.
Nice transition.
You can beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild without finishing the story. We've already seen an awful lot of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at this year's E3, but one thing we haven't seen is the game's conclusion. Well, obviously. Maybe that's obvious, he goes on to say. According to the game's creators, dedicated players will be able to speed on through to the game's finish right from the start if they wish to do so.
Wow.
Quote, users may not actually get the full story depending on how they play the game and how they strategize and solve puzzles. Producer Eiji Onuma told Polygon, quote, users are able to go to the very end goal without revealing why Link woke up the way he did and where he did. Whether you want to reveal the storyline and find out why Link woke up, or you just want to get straight to the goal, that's an option totally up to the user. Interesting.
I don't like it.
I mean, it's a cool idea, right? Like, you're going to discover this world on your own. Yeah, but the part about
Zelda is the story.
Yeah, I care about the story.
That's the heart of Zelda, is the story.
The gameplay looked great, but it looked like something that should be in a game in 2016, right? Everyone on Twitter was marveling at how cool the new Zelda looked, and the whole time I'm just like, it looks like The Witcher. I mean, it looks like a game that should be made in 2016. There's nothing really novel about this.
It's novel for Nintendo.
It's novel for Zelda, right? Like, Link's always jumping, and you don't have a jump button, but people freaked out. Like, they were like, there's a jump button? Holy fuck.
And you can climb.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It's like Nathan Drake is just in the corner.
Originally, though, on lines and shit like that. Hey, you know what's always around?
The NX.
Ocarina of Time.
Ocarina of Time is always around, and we can always play that on the good old N64, the way it was meant to be played, blocky and shitty.
Perfect. That game is awesome.
From VG247.com, it says Detroit Become Human is 8 to 10 hours long with a lot of replay value. David Cage talks more about his new game. In an interview with IGN at E3, David Cage said that Detroit Become Human would be about, quote, 8 to 10 hours, like Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, but this game will have a lot of replayability value, he continued. He recommends players do their first run living with the consequences of their choices, before diving back in and trying the other possibilities. Quote, the game is much more banding than any game we've ever done before. We just wanted to push the envelope on pretty much everything in the game, from the visuals to the branching narrative to everything. The first scene in the game, for example, has 6 different outcomes each with their own consequences. He went on to talk about the character deaths, saying, quote, there is no game over in this game. If you die with one character, it's lost, end quote. This is really exciting to me, just because Detroit Become Human was probably my least... I knew the least about the game going into E3 2016, except for the surprise announcements like Crash. But coming out of E3, I'm totally hyped about it. It looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. Like, I love the idea of, like, holy shit. I love the idea of, like, the whole iRobot scenario in video games. Like, androids, humans living together. What's that like? What are the consequences of the actions you take? And especially since you're playing as an android.
That trailer blew my mind.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I was just like, you could do all this different stuff.
And which is why you
my
haven't...
My favorite trailer, though, was the We Happy Few.
Oh.
That isn't... Yeah. Besides the Batman one.
Yeah. Well, We Happy Few might have been, like, my... I got really excited during the PlayStation conference, so I can't say it was my most excited game, but that trailer is so well done.
It's just... Dude, I can't wait to play that game.
I'm just so sad that we have to boot up a PC, to play it, because the developers did say that there is a chance they'll bring it to PS4, but it seems like there's a pretty heavy exclusivity deal with Microsoft to bring that game to Xbox One, so it could be a long time before we see it in PS4, which sucks, but good for them. They're an indie team. They probably got paid a lot of money to go to Microsoft, so good for them.
Looks good.
Detroit Become Human looks great, too.
Yes.
And you haven't played Heavy Rain, right?
No.
We should play Heavy Rain together, because that's a great game that you would really enjoy. Being a Lost fan, that Heavy Rain is like, it's playing an episode of Lost. It's so weird and confusing, and you don't really know who's going on. And
we should
Jacob.
watch Lost after this.
I won't say no. Yes. But there's also the feud. Don't forget the feud.
But we always watch the feud.
We always watch it. That's true.
One episode is not going to kill you.
Now, the next story is kind of interesting, and it's a Radiovania put-together story, so there's no exclusive article or anything. This just comes from Twitter, so we're reporting the news here. Give me a high five. From Norm Wilner, at Norm Wilner on Twitter, senior film writer for @Now Toronto, XTFCA Veep, and host of Semcast. He's a critic, movie critic, television critic, writer, yada, 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 the whole thing. But he did tweet a couple days ago, which I thought was really fascinating. At a viewer, he revealed that Independence Day Resurgence press screenings, so for the reviewers, are happening at 11 a.m. on opening day. Now, you and me both love some Goldblum.
Yes. I want a picture of him. I actually think I might get one.
We should get a picture.
Can I get like an 8x10 and just put it in this living room?
This is your house.
You're right. Connor's going to come back and there's going to be some wonky ass shit on the wall. I'm ready.
Holy shit.
Oh gosh. That's my phone.
Just dropping stuff left and right. Want to pick it up?
I'll get it later.
All right. So we're excited about Independence Day, but this does not bode well for the franchise.
Excited loosely.
I was totally excited. I know the movie's going to be pretty bad, but like it's going to be entertaining, right? It's Goldblum. It's Goldblum.
Yeah.
But this is bad news. The press screenings for the reviewers that are going to be reviewing this movie are on 11 a.m. on opening day. This movie's probably going to be bad. Like,
I'm getting
really,
some
really
like Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen vibes.
Ooh, good comparison there. Yeah, I can totally see that. Uh-oh.
But you know what that means? It's going to make $1 billion in China.
The last story we have, John, before we close the news out, comes from IGN, and it says the 11 biggest stories from E3 2016, according to popularity on IGN. It says the sun is set on another E3, and the games industry pauses for a moment to nurse its collective hangover. We thought we'd pull some stats and find out exactly which announcements hit the biggest with the IGN audience during this year's show. Below are the 11 biggest stories from E3 2016 as determined by IGN Traffic. Now, before I read 11, take a guess. We're gonna play the game where John Parker guesses every single every single game from E3 that were the highest. So you're determining this on how important they were to people, that they drove traffic, they wanted to read about it, they saw the announcement, they came to it, they were like, shit.
Okay.
Read about this. Number 11.
Titanfall 2.
Number 11 was Resident Evil 7.
Dang it.
Number 10.
Resident Evil 7.
Try again, please.
Okay. FIFA.
The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild
10? Really?
is only 10.
Ouch.
Number 9.
I'm trying to recall games. Spider-Man.
Classic Crash Bandicoot games to be remastered.
Okay.
Number 8.
These are just biggest stories?
The biggest stories.
Okay.
The stories that drove the most traffic. Number 8.
Xbox One Slim.
Insomniac Spider-Man game swings out of the shadows.
Son of a bitch!
Number 7.
Xbox One Slim.
Death Stranding signals Kojima's triumphant return.
Oh, that was a cool trailer.
Number 6.
I'm gonna get one of these. Just you wait.
I'm excited.
Batman Arkham Knight VR.
God of War's dramatic overhaul. Vocal.
Fuck.
Number 5. Number 5.
Battlefield 1.
Xbox One Slim revealed.
Son of a bitch! This is the worst game ever.
This is all. Number 4.
Battlefield 1.
Skyrim Special Edition announced.
You could have seen that coming.
Number 3. This is the tough ones. Think about the top 3 biggest games from E3. What was people hyped about the most?
See, I thought God of War would have been higher. That's what's surprising to me.
I thought Zelda would have been higher.
Oh. Doom. Sure.
You're close. Bethesda is working on Elder Scrolls 6. Now that is interesting.
We don't even know what this story is.
No, apparently, yeah. Todd Howard talked about how Elder Scrolls 6 is a long way off, but they confirmed that it's in development. So yeah,
everybody knew that though.
A game that's not even at the show was number 3. So you couldn't have ever won that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Number 2.
Battlefield 1.
PlayStation's Pitch Perfect press conference. So just PlayStation was number 2. People search PlayStation the most.
I thought we were talking about individual games. This article's throwing me for a loop here.
The 11 biggest stories from E3 2016 is what the article is called.
All right.
So give me your best guess for number 1.
Batman Arkham Knight VR.
Xbox One Project Scorpio revealed. The new hardware releasing next December.
0 for 11.
Way to go, John. You did a great job.
I did. It's such a good job.
And that rounds out the news on episode 20. And holy shit, was that a huge...
That was a big old news cock that we just shoved
Oh, we
right
just
in there.
whacked you in the face with it. Ah.
That was a scary noise.
Oh, yeah.
Moving in to the new Radiovania segment.
New segment.
Radiovania Comic Shop Talk.
All right.
So what we want to do with this
Are we trademarking that title?
Hopefully.
All right.
But to be determined, as always.
All right.
Because I can't come up with titles to save my life. So basically, what I wanted to bring to the table with Radiovania is I want to give a time to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, which are comic books. And we're just going to kind of dive into news-related stuff, what's coming out, what's going to be coming out, talk about maybe some stories here and there. There might be some spoilers, but you'll get a lot of spoilers alert before I dive into that. And then I want to give time to bounce it off Zach and see what he thinks, because he reads some stuff that I give him, but he doesn't read it as much as I do, where I go and get him every week. From Shout Out to Laughing Ogre in Columbus. You guys are amazing. And I love coming to your store and giving you guys money. And Zach's been there a couple of times.
Yes,
it's an impressive
Great
store.
Great
so
store.
We'll probably go there again.
Yeah, John.
Multiple times.
John's the teacher, and I'm the pupil.
Learn from you, Will.
And that's my goal, is that I hope the Radiovania audience takes something away from his massive knowledge base, which I certainly have over the past year, learning about his comics, learning about the minutia of the universes that they build, and I really respect it, and I've grown to have an even deeper respect than I had when I was a kid. And so I'm happy that John's getting this segment. I think it's fucking brilliant, and I think it's one of the better ideas that we could have had in the show. So I'm looking forward to where it goes, and he's going to host it. So it's going to be a wild ride. I'm strapping myself in.
All right, let's get started then.
Yeah,
so
week one. Momentous occasion.
So at the base of it, you always got to have Marvel and DC, right? That's
Sure.
the big heavy hitters. They got the movie franchises. They got everything. So we got two major events going on in terms of crossovers that are going on with each brand. So right now in Marvel is Civil War 2. So this is a sequel to the Civil War storyline that came out in, I think it was 2006, 2007, written by Mark Millar.
The original Civil War storyline.
Yes, the one that this movie that came out this summer was based on.
I didn't know it was that new. I thought it was older than that.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. So Civil War 2 is going on right now.
Okay.
And this pits Stony Tart. Wow.
Stony Tart.
Wow. Great start. This pits Tony Stark, Iron Man, versus Captain Marvel. I brought the books here today. Zach's still laughing.
Stony Tart.
So Zach's going to take a look at the cover real quick here. So we got Civil War 2.
Very pretty. They look young.
Yes. So here's the thing about comic books. No one ever ages.
Okay.
Ever. So basically, to sum it up without giving anything away, Civil War 2 is basically the same thing as Civil War, where it takes the superhero community and divides them around one central plot. And instead of registration and pro-registration this time, there is an Inhuman, which is a group of almost mutant-esque superheroes. And his power is that he can see flashes, kind of like Desmond from Lost, of what's going to happen, and it's something bad.
Yeah.
And the big argument going on, Tony Stark's opinion, is whether or not you shouldn't affect how you go about doing things because of what you saw from the future, or Captain Marvel's viewpoint, which is, now that we know what's going to happen, we should take action and change the future before there's a travesty. Tony Stark believes in the future and he wants to let future play out, whereas Captain Marvel is uncertain of how things can go and wants to change things. So it draws a line between the two of them. So instead of it being about secret identities and stuff like that, it's more about almost an ethical issue, if you want to.
What are the
consequences
consequences to time travel in this universe? Because are there paradoxes, butterfly effects?
Yes. There's, with any science fiction story, there's always that. So far, though,
but they've gone into that in the comics.
Yes, yeah. Okay. And so far with that, to get into a quick spoiler alert here, knowing about what's going to happen, they hear from this Inhuman that Thanos is going to come to Earth to look for, I can't quite remember off the top of my head. It's not an Infinity Stone or anything like that. But he comes to Earth.
Looking for something. So Captain Marvel takes her groups of the Alpha Force, and she goes to fight them. James Rhodes, War Machine, who is part of her squad, gets killed by Thanos because they go fight him, whereas in the original premonition from the Inhuman, Thanos just shows up and wrecks a lot of stuff and leaves. So in their attempts to go and try and stop him, they lose Rhodes, who wasn't originally supposed to die. Does that make sense? So that's how. Okay, so that's
how
like
Tony.
That's like a
yes,
paradox.
that's the rift. So that's how Tony gets drawn into this, and he gets mad because Rhodes is his best friend. So now in the Marvel universe, War Machine's dead, which they didn't do in the Civil War movie, which we thought they were going to, but they did in Civil War 2, which I thought was interesting.
So can you give me a brief rundown of who are the teams in this? Because in Civil War, the movie is really what I know is Civil War. So
I'm going to give you a couple because they haven't really divided yet to fight.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
When did this start?
We're only on issue 2. This has only been
damn.
going on for like a month and a half, 2 months maybe. So basically, you have Tony Stark, and on his side, he has Black Widow with him. Captain America, Sam Wilson. There's 2 Captain Americas now, in case you guys didn't know. So, yeah. Sorry about that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, so Falcon he's Captain America.
Oh, okay.
And then Steve Rogers is also Captain America again. How
do they differentiate between the two of them?
Because, one has a different shaped shield than the other.
Oh, okay.
And one has wings. So Sam Wilson is on Tony Stark's side, as well as Natasha Romanoff, who I already said. And Miles.
so the Captain Americas are divided.
Yes, and Miles Morales
Interesting.
Spider-Man is also on
Hey,
Tony's
shout out to
side.
Donald Glover.
Captain Marvel's side, to just give a quick couple of people out there, Peter Parker Spider-Man is on her team. Hawkeye is on her team. Some of the X-Men and the Inhumans are on her team, since they're kind of trying to help that guy out.
Okay.
The biggest thing is at the end of issue 2, they're bringing Bruce Banner into the fold as the Hulk, because the Inhuman, spoiler alert, had a premonition that the Hulk was going to kill everyone. So at the end of issue 2, Captain Marvel goes to confront Bruce Banner to potentially maybe kill him before anything bad happens. To sum up the Civil War talk, I want to talk more about the production behind it.
Sure.
It's written by a writer who I really like, Brian Michael Bendis, who's kind of like taken over as almost the Jeff Johns of the Marvel Universe, if you will. He's actually the guy who wrote the entire Ultimate Spider-Man run, which I loaned you the first volume of. He's a very talented writer. He writes really funny stuff as well as some very good stuff. He's just a good comic book writer.
How long has he been in the industry?
Oh, gosh. Over a decade and a half.
Wow. So he's well versed.
Yes, and he actually writes the Guardians of the Galaxy series that I read right now, which is fun. It's not amazing, but it's fun. So I would probably give Civil War 2 overall right now a 3.5 to 4 out of 5. I think it's fun. The only problem that I have with it is it's $5 an issue.
Really?
You felt it. It's hard. It's almost like a cardstock cover. It is expensive. And the best part about DC Rebirth is everything is $2.99, which is hard to argue with.
Yikes, Marvel.
Yes.
Why do you think they're so expensive? Like, not just the materials of the book. It's got to be something else,
It's
right?
mostly the material. It's how you construct the book. And it's just how, that's just like, in the past couple of years, it's been $4 to $5. So them jumping down to $2.99, or DC jumping down to $2.99 is huge. And it's awesome. Because, I mean, comics used to be like, what, 10 cents way back when?
Sure.
So anyway,
Adjust for inflation.
Sure. So that's... so that's the big thing with Marvel going on right now. Like I said, I also read Guardians of the Galaxy. And the big thing with Marvel is that now that since they're kind of partnered with Star Wars, they have a lot of Star Wars titles coming out right now. And the newest one was the Han Solo shot. And it's developing into a series, which I have here.
Okay.
Beautiful cover. Beautiful book. I give this book a 5 out of 5, surprisingly.
Yeah,
I am looking
shocked.
I am looking forward to this series a lot. This takes place between Star Wars: A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back.
What's the elevator pitch?
The elevator pitch is Han Solo is asked by Princess Leia to run in a race with the Millennium Falcon. So it's a starship race. They travel between different planets, and the reason why he's entering the race is it's a covert mission to pick up rebel spies on the 3 planets where you stop to refuel. So imagine like a huge space race where your refueling points are different planets. So he's basically carrying out a rebel spy mission. But the interactions with him and Chewie and Leia, because it's the early stages of him kind of starting to develop feelings for Leia, because this is just after Star Wars, and she's kind of, you can see, kind of got like a little thing going for him. But he's torn between leaving to go pay off Jabba, and, you know, he's kind of attached to this princess now and his friends like Luke Skywalker.
So this is between 4 and 5.
Yes, and it's a beautifully drawn book. I'm really excited going forward for it, because a lot of the Star Wars titles recently have been pretty bad. So
Which ones have been the
C-3PO, Chewbacca have been really bad. Lando,
There was a C-3PO comic?
yes, it's about how he got his red arm. Lando was good. Darth Vader started good, but now it's bad. And the mainstream Star Wars story that takes place between 4 and 5 has been pretty steady. They have an occasional Obi-Wan Kenobi one-shot where he's hanging out on Tatooine watching Baby Luke, which is really cool.
Baby Luke.
Yep. So I'm looking forward to this Han Solo book going forward. So we'll see what they have in store. It's hard to not be able to write a fun story with Han Solo. Plus he's got, I mean, come on. We know who we're talking to here. So let's just get excited, all right?
Mr. Han Solo.
Everybody,
the biggest Han Solo fan I know.
Everybody go out and buy this book if they still have it at your comic book store that you go to. I know mine was running low when I got it, but I was glad that they still had one that I could grab.
I like this Brian's Toys ad in the middle where
They're in every Star Wars book.
Kylo Ren's Force Effects lightsaber, only $199.99.
Yep. All right.
Oh, if I wish. If I had the disposable income.
Moving into DC Rebirth.
All right, DC time.
So Rebirth has been going on for about a month and a half now. And they've come out with a lot of one-shots where they just introduce what the character's new story arc is going to be, as well as kind of just like connect it to the big DC Rebirth special that they released. That was 80 pages written by Jeff Johns. And I won't dive into that because it's been out for a while. So I'm just going to go over what's come out in the past week. And I will explain things that we can tie into and stuff like that. But where better than to start with the new Batman #1. In the Batman one-shot, they set up that Batman was going to be working with one of his new partners in crime, a character named Duke Thomas, who they introduced in the New 52. But regardless of that, I really like this book. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I thought it was really, really beautifully drawn. I'm a huge David Finch fan, who is the artist, the penciler for it. The writer is Tom King, who a lot of people have been asking to write a standalone Batman series for a while now. Basically, to sum up the plot without giving a whole lot of stuff away, Batman is keeping an airplane from crashing into Gotham City by strapping some jet propulsions onto the wings and flying it manually by holding with cables and stuff like that. So Batman, a guy without superpowers, is keeping an airplane from crashing into buildings. It's pretty sweet. He calls the Justice League. He's like, if I could get Hal Jordan or Clark down here, that'd be great. We got an airplane. And Alfred's like, both of them are indisposed. They're off planet and stuff like that. And Batman's like, fine, I'll just do it myself. Hits the button in the Batmobile and flies off in his chair and just grabs onto the airplane. It's sweet. But basically at the end of the book, spoiler alerts if you guys haven't read the book yet, there's a new vigilantes in Gotham called Gotham and Gotham Girl. And they have superpowers. And apparently they can fly. And they have super strength because they keep the airplane from running into the water. So now Batman has to deal with some people who have superpowers that are trying to be the protectors of his city, who we all know there's only one protector of Gotham, and that's Bruce Wayne. So I'm looking forward to this series going forward, and I'm really excited about the artwork and the writing. So thumbs up for Batman so far. Now, to counteract the nighttime, let's jump into the daytime, and we got Superman. Soups! So we got Superman #1 here. And this is written by Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason. I like the art a lot. The writing in this book is okay. The story is bad.
Really?
There isn't much of a story right now. Then basically Superman is trying to help his son cope with his powers. Which, why wouldn't you do a Superboy story about that?
His son is...
So basically... So in the New 52, there was Clark Kent. And this was a different Clark Kent than the one that had been in comics from 1930 whatever, 20 whatever, until 2010 when they started New 52. That Superman that was from the 30s to this millennia right now is the one who got killed by Doomsday and was resurrected and was in the Justice League and has been around forever.
Okay.
But he wasn't the same one that was in the New 52. The one that was in the New 52 was in love with Wonder Woman, and he was kind of different. And I'm not going to lie, all his storylines sucked and nobody liked him. So you know what they did? They brought back the original Superman that got killed by Doomsday, and guess what? He's married to Lois, and he has a son named Jonathan Kent, and it's beautiful.
And he shaves himself with lasers.
And he shaves himself with heat vision with a mirror, and it's boss. That's the best part of Superman Rebirth. But Superman, Superman #1 is about, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 because I'm looking for it promisingly, and Batman makes an appearance in the book. However, I don't want them to be focusing the book on him just helping his son develop his powers, because I think that's more of a Superboy storyline, and I want Superman to be flying around and doing stuff. But we'll see where it's going forward. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. So, plus I like the art style a lot. I'm a huge fan of the way that they both tag team the book.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
Yes.
If there's one thing I can appreciate about comics, not being a super fan about any of them, I love the characters, love the stories, I love the universes that they build. I think it's great. The art is just magnificent, man.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And how does it compare to New 52 already?
It's good. It's about the same, but some of it, they seem to have paired writers with artists really well so far. The best part of New 52, we've talked about this before, is I can't get off the dick of the Batman storyline with Scott Snyder, with Greg Capullo doing the art. That is a great run. All 52 issues, I love the whole thing. There wasn't much of a standout series besides that. Justice League was cool, but every now and then it didn't have the same feel because they bring in a new artist and they kind of throw it off its mojo and stuff like that.
Felt a little off kilter.
So I'm just excited to see going forward what they do with these storylines and these characters, because they're getting back to the heart of what DC was before they started New 52, where they tried to shake things up to get people interesting, and they're just giving us what we like. So I'm really excited about that. Just to talk really fast about the other 2 rebirths that came out this week. I'm not going to dive too much into them because they were okay, but they're not great. Green Arrow and Green Lanterns. Okay,
So
books.
much green.
So much green. Okay, books. Green Arrow's cool. He shoots people with the bow and arrow.
Who do you like better? And not even in terms of the new Rebirth, but like just in terms of superheroes. Do you like Green Lantern?
Green Lantern.
Okay.
However, Green Lantern's, notice the S. This book is not about Hal Jordan. It's about a female Green Lantern named Jessica Cruz, who was introduced in New 52. I like her as a character. So far, the story hasn't grasped me yet. But basically, Green Lanterns is her and this other guy named Simon Baz, who are new rookies in the Green Lantern Corps dealing with stuff. They're doing a Hal Jordan Green Lantern Corps storyline later, but that rebirth won't get started until later in July or August. But yeah, she's a babe. And my theory is that they're bringing her into the DC Cinematic Universe at some point, which I'm excited about. Like I said, love Jessica Cruz's Green Lantern. However, this story hasn't grasped me yet, but they're basically... Grasped.
Sorry, I'm an asshole.
No, you're good.
Go, keep going.
They're basically about to go to war with the Red Lanterns. Okay.
Not
to bash the CW show.
Sure.
But that Green Arrow is Batman with the bow and arrow. They tried to make a Batman show with the bow and arrow. This is what Green Arrow... Wow. This is what Green Arrow is supposed to be. Not him having sex with Black Canary, although that's great. He's supposed to be funny and witty and kind of full of himself and stuff like that, but not to be dark and brooding. So what I like with how they brought back the original Green Arrow. However, the storyline so far has been him. It's almost like Taken, where there's an underground group of people auctioning off homeless people as slaves. So he's basically just kind of fighting people in Seattle. So I mean, it's interesting right now, and the art is good. Like I can't not talk about the art because the art is half the book. But that brings us to one that absolutely I fell in love with as soon as I read it. The Titans Rebirth one shot.
Who are the Titans?
This is the original Teen Titans from like the 50s. But now they're all adults and they're joining back together. So the big thing with the Rebirth story, and spoiler alerts if you haven't read Rebirth yet. Are you still listening? Wait a second. Spoilers. I said it twice now. Wally West, who is the second Flash after Barry Allen, is back. He disappeared for New 52. They wrote him out. He wasn't there. But now he's found a way to get out of the Speed Force and he's back. But it's like the end of Lost where he has to find emotional connections with people for them to remember him. So that's why I tweeted getting some Lost vibes from Rebirth. So the only person who's recognized him so far is the other Flash, Barry Allen, the original Flash. His friends that he was on the Teen Titans with, this is what this book's about. This is basically the last episode of Lost with the happier theme to it and a beautiful art style, and it has your boy Dick Grayson, Nightwing, in it.
Nightwing!
And he's the bomb diggity. So I'm all about anything with Dick Grayson in it. So it was a very good book. I'm going to give this one actually a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
It made me actually cry when I read it. It tugged on the heartstrings. I'm a huge fan of when these characters get to reenact with each other after reunite with each other after they've been apart for so long. It's just adorable. It's just it's a good book, and I'm looking forward to the Titans series when it starts. Really excited, man. It's exciting
me just hearing you talk about it. And I'm not a comic book fan.
loved the Teen Titans. I like the original team a lot with Wally West and Dick Grayson, and when you got Wonder Girl and Aqualad and Green Arrow's original sidekick Roy. It was fun. It was a fun time, and it's good to see them interact with each other, and They're all adults now and stuff like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I just love Dick Grayson so much. Anything tied to Batman, I'm a huge fan of, and Nightwing's the bomb diggity. So I'm ready. For some Dick Grayson stuff. So
well, I'm excited to hear your reviews next time we get together about it. When do the next comic rounds come out?
Wednesday.
This Wednesday. So you're going to be prepared?
That's what I was about to get into next. So that wraps up last week's big stuff. Justice League 51 came out, but it was meh, so I'm not really going to talk about it a whole lot.
Okay.
But basically, since they finished the Justice League story with 50 and then they jumped into Rebirth, they want to do a whole 52 set like the other new 52 books.
Okay.
So 51 and 52 are prequels to the whole story, so it's just kind of like fluff.
All right.
So anyway, what we got coming up next week, or I guess this week on Wednesday.
Lay out the dates.
With DC Rebirth, we have Wonder Woman #1. Flash #1, and Aquaman #1.
Okay.
So they had their one-shots a couple weeks ago, which all three I really liked for the most part. Some of them are kind of confusing, but we'll see where the stories go with that. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they get this started. And then we also have Detective Comics and Action Comics. So Detective Comics is headlined by Batman and his team of Batmen. And he's got one of his old Robins, Batwoman, and Clayface are on a team, to name a few. And crazy, right?
That's crazy.
And then Action Comics has Lex Luthor, who thinks he's Superman now because he saved the Earth in New 52, versus Clark Kent, who we talked about earlier. We're going at it, and then a big meteor hit, and Doomsday's back. So we'll see where that goes. But hey, you throw Doomsday in there, and people are going to buy it. And
sounds like a Zack Snyder script if I ever heard one.
yeah, exactly. But we'll see where that goes. I'm excited for that. And then with Marvel, we have Totally Awesome Hulk, which is a great, totally awesome title. So I'll be sure to check that out and let you guys know. A Scarlet Witch title is also starting, as well as a subplot to Civil War II. Civil War II Choosing Sides, featuring Nick Fury choosing his side. So that all comes out on Wednesday, as well as the very last 52 Justice League. So we'll see how they wrap up that show.
So we'll have some reviews for you next week?
We'll have some reviews next week for you. Hopefully you guys like this. If you've got any questions or you want me to talk about things differently, I'm totally game. I didn't want to spoil every major story for you. I just wanted to kind of give you a rundown on my thoughts on what I've been reading. And obviously I don't have the funds nor the time to read everything that comes out. So if you guys have anything you want to recommend to me to read, I would love to hear it, because I will definitely go out and buy it if you guys get in contact with us and tell me to read something.
Also me. I don't read comic books very often. I read what John gives me, but like, if there's something out there, I love Scott Pilgrim. I seem to be drawn to Image Comics.
Image Comics is great.
So it sounds like that's the kind of stuff that would
Image
be,
Comics,
really be
to send this off, my next comic that I want to read that's a trade is Paul Dini, who is the writer for the Batman animated series, has released a comic through Image Comics, the first Batman comic produced by Image Comics. DC gave them permission.
Wow.
A couple years ago, he was mugged walking home from a date, and it affected him. This was in like the 90s. It affected him mentally that he almost quit writing Batman the animated series because emotionally he just couldn't write the character anymore. And he wrote a comic where Batman is talking to him to get him to come back to being what he once was. But on the other hand, he has Joker and Two-Face and Penguin talking about, you don't want to get back out there again, you're just going to get hurt and stuff like that. So he has like the angel and the devil on the shoulder, and it's Batman and Joker.
Sounds awesome.
His inner demons. That is produced by Image Comics. It is out now.
Sounds
I plan
awesome.
to order it. I just got paid today. So I'm going to Amazon that shit, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to let you guys know hopefully next Radiovania. So please go check it out. Support Paul Dini. He has had such an impact on me as a Batman fan and a comic book fan. He created Harley Quinn. For those of you that don't know, that character was created on the show. So if you like Harley Quinn, you got to go buy this guy's book because you owe it to him. Shout out Suicide Squad.
John, that was a fucking awesome segment. What are we calling this thing again? The
Comic Shop Talk.
Comic Shop Talk.
To be determined.
Swan Song Corner. But either way, thank you so much for taking control of that. That was awesome. I loved hearing about it. It's great. Viewers, if you love comics like John does and you're passionate about it, awesome. Thank you guys for supporting this industry. It means a lot to me.
And please continue to support this industry because now is a better time than ever to support it. I mean, you got this great rebirth run that's going on right now across all fronts. $2.99. They lowered the price because they want people to get back into it and they want people to buy their books. The reason that the problem with New 52 is that it was too expensive and the writing wasn't good. And they know that. So they're fixing it, and Jeff Johns is heading all this stuff, and hopefully he can fix the cinematic universe. But we've talked about that enough that I'm not talking about that right now. Just go support this comic book industry. It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to a lot of our listeners as well.
We'll have a discussion about it when we watch the BVS extended cut.
And I don't want to drop any too many hints, but we might have an interesting special guest at the end of July who's quite the comic expert.
Ooh.
Who may or may not have molded my comic book fandom, who has listened to the show, and he would be very interested, I think, in talking to us about some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly over a delicious bottle of bourbon that we supply for him. But I'm not going to say who that is. You guys will just have to listen and find out.
Oh, yeah. But until then, thank you very much for joining us on this very special, very awesome episode number 20 of Radiovania. John, we've done 20 episodes.
Can you believe it?
That's crazy, man.
I haven't even been for all 20.
No, it feels like I've been doing this forever. But thank you for everyone that watches the show. Go to Radiovania.com. Support us. If you have ad blocker on, just pause it when you're on YouTube, because that's how we get our funds. With more funds from our ads on YouTube, we can do more special content for you guys, like The Few of Us, like a comic show for John. Whatever you want to do, unboxing, Loot Crate, a lot, which the Lost Cast we're going to start planning soon. Movie commentaries, TV commentaries, yada, yada, yada. The more you support us, the more we can give you guys content.
I'll even read a goddamn comic book live for you guys if you want. And I'll show the pictures to Zach, and he'll be like, wow!
That'd be beautiful.
That'd be fun.
You can find me at Zach Rotello. You can find John Swansong Parker at @JohnParker on Twitter. You can tweet Radiovania at Radiovania. You can email the show with your questions, comments, or concerns at radiovaniashow@gmail.com.
And when we get old and gray, we're going to open a comic book shop called Swan Song.
It's actually not a bad idea for a comic
I know. And we're also going to have our coffee bar shop.
Oh, Metropolis and Gotham. What
Yeah. We got to come up with a name.
Genius idea.
BVS Coffee.
BVS, no. Can't associate ourselves with that.
Dawn of Java.
Dawn? Alright, we can't do any better than that. That's where the show ends. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.